Hello and welcome to Chapter 249 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing today?
Not too shabby. I work sucks. That's just normal.
Yeah,
But also, I started going back to the gym, trying to get myself a little bit
nice.
healthier. And I went today, and it was leg day. So
Tomorrow's gonna suck for you.
probably,
Yeah,
especially since Wednesday was chest and basically chest and shoulders. I did some shoulders, and all day today at work, it was just tight, like right here. I'm like, oh god, this sucks. This is miserable.
Oh man.
But I know it'll help me out in the long run.
Yeah, it always is. Just getting back in shape is something I have to do too, Joe, because the only thing I've done in the last year, honestly, to get in shape is walking the dog twice a day.
Yeah,
So,
I was walking the dog once a day, but it was also one of those things where, because of our hobby, we have a very sedentary thing that we do constantly. So, like, I tried doing the walking pad. The problem with the walking pad, as I'm like watching stuff, the walking pad has such a short leg span. Like I can't get a full walk in. So
yeah,
I'm like, screw it. I can't do this anymore. To the gym I go.
nice.
So I'm cutting out time after work every day. Well, right now 3 days a week to get back in the gym. Try to get back into the routine, because it's been, I think last time I went was pre-COVID.
Oh, geez.
So
But this
4
will be
years
nice.
ago.
It does help get a little bit of structure to your life. So
Exactly.
that'll be fun.
How you been?
I've been okay. Work was pretty terrible this week, but it's over. The last hour, my basically the way that I connect to the health network crashed, so I didn't have to do anything. So I just went upstairs and chilled out for an hour. Like my internet was fine, I just couldn't do the whole security thing.
Sure,
So
yeah.
it stopped working. I was like, okay, yeah, perfect.
Well,
And I watched Superman and Lois then, and it was awesome. And
very
I
good.
can't wait to talk about it, Joe. I am so excited. We have a little bit of network plugs to do before we get into all those fun things, and let me get them out of the way. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 6 shows in total. On Mondays, bi-weekly is Ranger Alliance. On Tuesdays is a walk through the multiverse. On Wednesdays, returning this week, is the Animation Nation. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. And on Saturdays is DC Alliance. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9-10 p.m. Eastern Time. And DC Alliance goes live Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. All 3 of those shows also have their own podcast feed. Search DC Alliance, Marvel Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want DC content, Marvel content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 6 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to the GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is just a tip jar, like we're doing, and you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras, get your ad-free episodes, early access to episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are going through all the DC films through the years, over 25 pieces of content, 25 plus pieces of content up there, all the way back from Batman 66. We have the Marvel Alliance guys, Chris and Brant, doing their tales from the House of X, talking about their favorite Fox Marvel films. They also have a backlog of the Infinity Saga that they discussed as well. And we have Joel's Multiverse Minutes, where Joel's doing his Disney deep dives, where he's taking a look at a Disney film on the 1st and the 15th, talking about, like, not only reviewing it, but just giving you behind the scenes fun facts. And on his most recent walk through the multiverse, you get a little sampling of what those are like. So check that out. And I also, while I'm speaking about it, want to plug the Star Wars Alliance, Katie and Clay, who did an interview this past week, 2 days ago.
Wednesday came out Thursday.
You know more Star Wars-ish stuff than me, because I don't read the books and stuff, so I'm not 100% sure what this pertained to. I think it was a Mace Windu book, I think.
Yes, and I haven't read that one. I'm not current. I haven't read the Star Wars novel in some time. I'm
never, so I'm not one to speak.
I will say, if you ever get a chance, read Revenge of the Sith novel, because that is like one of the best.
Okay, I will put it on the list. The list ever grows, but stuff gets knocked down all the time. And
also, the Darth Bane trilogy, but that's a whole different thing.
We'll go one at a time first. Yeah, check those guys out too. We thank everyone that's a patron. If you're not a patron, if you take 30 to 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, it's always greatly appreciated. It helps other people find the shows, and that's always a good thing. Also, Joe, just want to say our two shows a week time is ending now. This will be the final week of that.
It is.
It was fun. I love doing it when it's good content. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel forced at all. It's not like you're watching bad shows. So yeah, it was good.
'Cause
But I'm also glad that we're not doing 2 shows a week anymore.
I was like, considering we had literally nothing the first half of the year, the
Oh,
fact that we were doing 2 shows, I'm like, whew,
I
yeah,
still
I can take a break. I need it.
some of those episodes I don't even know how we made it in like how we got content, but we
I've
forged
said
on.
it in the past on different shows. I can just bullshit for 45 minutes if I have to. I've done it before. I did it when we were doing the live stuff with the Patreon meetup,
Oh,
back in the
nice.
day.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's up, Iggy? How you doing, bud?
We're ready to talk about a fun episode of Superman and Lois. So, Joe, we're talking about season 4, episode 7, A Regular Guy. What do you think about this episode?
Honestly, it was fine.
Mhm.
One of the problems that I run into is because we wait until it's closer to
We get
showtime to
spoiled.
yeah, we definitely get spoiled because the pivotal scene
Hmm.
of this episode, I saw part of it. I think you did too because we talked about it last episode
Yeah.
on Twitter, and it's like, well, that's a bunch of crap. Ugh.
And my like spoiler blockers used to be a lot better. Like I have Superman and Lois, but the way Superman and Lois is titled is sometimes it slips through the cracks. Oh, I'm slipping.
Yeah, you are.
So yeah,
Think of the chair there, bud.
yeah, it's time. That's on the Christmas list, actually, Joe.
All
So
right.
yeah, I feel you there. Like that pivotal moment, that was a great scene, and I
Oh,
kind of
wonderful scene.
I knew what was going to happen. I didn't
Hmm.
see the whole thing, but you knew from the moment you saw that guy what was going to go down. So
Yeah.
that was a little frustrating. I'm going to probably start trying to. I'm going to watch them the last couple right when they air and just try to remember stuff, or maybe watch it a second time. I'll
Well,
go
I
with
know
something like that.
that's always possible. I know I also the last couple times I've actually tried to watch it as it aired, like actually on CW, but I never really got around to. I think the last time I thought it was airing at 9, and I turned it on at like 10 till. I'm like, oh, it's almost over. Well, click. I guess I'm not
Yeah.
watching the ending of this episode.
No, it's and again it goes up. I think it goes up on Max at some point, don't it? Or is it
Next day,
CWC?
like
Next
midnight
day.
or something.
Yeah.
But oh, well, no, not Max. The CW app.
CW, yeah, CW
Yeah.
app. Used to be formerly CW Seed.
Yes,
Uh,
correct.
s-
So yeah, I just watch it on there now. But I'm gonna again. We've only got 4 episodes left. 3 episodes left.
3 episodes left. Yeah,
Which, if I did my math correctly, that final episode is coming out the same week
December
as
2nd. December 2nd.
Creature Commandos.
Yeah. So
So we may have to do a double episode that week as well.
yeah, we probably will end off with a double episode with Superman and Lois there because we'll have to talk about that. Maybe we'll do that a little bit earlier so we don't get spoiled.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
we could drop that Wednesday for anyway. That's behind the scenes stuff. You guys
Yeah.
are hearing all the behind the scenes stuff. Sorry. But
as terms,
honestly, this
yeah,
episode was fine. Like, and Iggy, we'll get to your thoughts
it's
later.
in the
That's
news.
actually in the notes.
Yeah.
So just hold on there. But yeah, like this episode was fine. You had mentioned something about how there's nothing really happened, and yes and no.
No. Yeah.
Like something big happened, obviously, but like there wasn't a lot of action. Like
Yeah.
obviously, the money that they had for this season was spent in the first couple episodes. It's gonna be spent on the definitely season finale and probably the penultimate episode. They're building up to the finale, which is
Yeah.
fine. That being said, though, I definitely did laugh at a few times where Clark was trying to convince people things, and they're all just like, oh, "Okay, buddy."
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. The coach was especially funny.
Yep, Coach Gaines was great.
Joe, I think I love this episode a lot more than you did, and it's because I was telling you before we started, we don't get to see this very often
That is true.
in the world of Superman, like a Superman this established, and we got like a tiny little glimpse of it with um, what's his name again? Who played the Atom too. Plays Superman.
Brandon Roth.
Brandon Routh. So in his Crisis, like his Superman was like his like the Kingdom Come identity known type stuff. But and same thing in the animated series when you got to Batman Beyond, that Superman was known as Clark Kent. Like it wasn't his identity was gone now. but we never got it
Yeah.
live action. They skirted around it with Smallville just hiding his identity, and we've seen how that like took a toll on him. Here, it's shown so great how it set him back, how times he's had to give up stuff, and also like there was tension in this episode. I was impressed because I know they don't have a lot of money, or we would get more big action set pieces. In this episode, like, we were basically hopping into stuff that was filmed in the first episode. Like
Well,
take the
also,
second half of that to get like because he went into the phone booth and then we were shown the clip we got in the pilot episode.
yes.
So I'm like, you're using old footage and everything. Like that's how I don't think they had a lot of money to finish this off, which is sad, but it's really impressive what they're doing with the little resources I think they had finishing this off. And obviously you
Yeah.
got saved up for the big like final like Lex is going to be in a battle suit at some point. So like you're clearly gonna have to spend money there. So I like the way they did this here, and this is a story that we don't get, which is Superman's identity being revealed to the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I especially enjoyed it. So I can't wait to get into it with you.
One of the things that kept going through my head. That's actually part of spoilers. Let's go ahead and get into the spoiler section.
Let's take our only ad, well, one of our only ad breaks of the evening.
Our first ad break.
Listeners are an ad support network. We'll pick the ad to the volume. Going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, let's get into this episode now because, like you said right off the hop, Clark is trying to convince the town that he isn't Superman from the events that happened in the last episode. I especially loved the little, like, when they were showing it, he's like, yeah, I think she thinks I'm Superman. And I'm like, well, they also saw you die, bud. A lot of us
Well,
saw
and that's
you die.
the other thing with that is every time they showed something, they kept showing more. Like every time they showed him dying, they kept showing another person, and then another person, and then another person. I'm like,
you guys weren't there in the first.
There was like 3 people that saw it. How come there's 7 now?
People just popping their heads up and like,
yeah,
where did you come from? And
like,
I will say, I'm
Superman's
going to call a little BS because if Smiletown, Kansas, Smileville, like a small town in Kansas, is anything like my small rural town that I grew up in, every single person in the community would know by the end of the day. Not 2 weeks later, some people still don't know. Like everybody in the community would know. They would tell. It would go telephone. It wouldn't even be like.
Yeah, but that was also 30 years ago. I mean,
I still like.
Anyway,
I still love it. I love how he's trying to convince people.
So again, and we mentioned Coach Gaines, but then Denise it's the first one we see.
Yeah,
she is checking out like items that he's trying to pick up, and like nonchalantly trying to stare at them, like, huh? You just, okay. And then there's a news report on the back on the TV behind her.
Plane crashing.
Yeah, and she's just looking at him or looking at it and kind of looking at him like, well, you gonna go or something? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, look, I forgot my wallet. I'll be right back.
Well, actually, so Superman fly up and then comes back, and she's like, he walks back in, and she's like, "You're back already?" He's like, "I just went to the parking lot to get my wallet."
The fact that he thought, oh yeah, I totally convinced her.
You did worse job. Superman showed up on the screen. It's like, but you know what? It's okay because considering in the flashback somebody figured out a secret straight up. I'm not gonna fault his he's a little too naive when it comes to a secret.
Yeah, I want to talk about that scene when we get to it because there's some interesting things there. But yeah, so he's all proud of himself. Yep, I totally fooled Denise. Now she doesn't know. She thinks I'm just a regular guy.
Yeah, and
you tell yourself that, buddy.
And as he's doing that, the other side, the boys are over there going to go to a movie, and the guy who used to be the star quarterback comes over giving Jonathan crap, and Jonathan's like, "I'm not even playing on the team," and he's like, "That's the only way I get this right." He knows that he's got Superboy and he got powers, and he's calling him out, and luckily Kyle is there who intervenes and de-escalates the situation and tells the guy to go. And they tell Clark this, and this leads to one of the more awkward scenes.
Oh, dude,
I've ever seen, where he's trying to convince the family that he's not Superman, and the young fellow's not buying it one bit.
Yeah, the mom's just like, I've known Clark through her kids. Like he's definitely not Superman. And he's like, yeah, no, he totally is. Like, come
Yeah,
on, Mom.
yeah. And they're
Jeez.
sitting there, and they felt so shitty
They
because
did.
they know he's right.
Yeah.
And before this too, Clark was very stubborn about his secret. Like he gets mad at them for revealing it to Candace, and like there he's at odds with the boys. He kind of gets a little frustrated and leaves. And then Lois basically explains like he's had to be like this since he was 4.
I'm sorry. But yeah, no, like there you go. That's a smarter idea. Yeah, she explains to the boys like, look, he's been dealing with this secret his whole entire life, and
Yeah.
yes, you guys have the secret too, and it's not your secret to tell though. So it's kind of like you have to understand where he's coming from with all this.
You also lived 16 years where you didn't have to keep the secret because he kept the secret from you as well.
Yeah.
Yes, you get to live normal lives, somewhat normal lives.
Normal-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really good, Joe. It's good actual tension that because it builds up from the 3 years we've had him already like here. So
yeah, then we have the B story going on where Kyle and Christy are trying to buy a house.
This is what makes this episode not stellar for me because I could care less about this in the final season of this show. To be honest with you, I don't care. Like I won't sit back in 3 years and be like, I wonder if Kyle and Chrissy got that house and we never figured it out. Like if they never told us about it, I would have been okay with just their story being wrapped up in the last episode. But I
do understand what they're trying to do because they're trying to prove like it. The one thing that I thought was touching of that is at the diner when Kyle's just like, man, you know what? I was a complete asshole to you when we were kids, and Lois, we didn't see eye to eye, and just like we butted heads constantly. But you guys have been like the best friends ever. Like we know we can rely on you, and you're true to yourself, and that's awesome. You know, like that was a good scene.
That was a great scene. That engineers the best scene of the episode. So that plot is necessary. Even if sometimes, like when they're sitting there looking at it on a computer, I was like, I don't really care.
I mean, the other thing is like, okay, Kyle, like they need money for this down payment on this house, $300,000 house, which I mean, we'd have to maybe talk to Brent. He's closer to Kansas area to understand how much the marketing is, how much the market is for the housing. Like I know houses up here, $300,000 for they better have like 2 acres, because Jesus Christ, like that's a lot.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, the housing market is absolutely bonkers.
Oh, it's shit. Like it's crap.
No, it's like there's an area 10 minutes away from me that's $600,000 per house, and it's only like no different bigger lot, no different bigger area. A house might have an extra bedroom or bathroom, but it's like more contemporary design. And most of the houses around here go for $300,000 to $400,000.
Yes, so I know our house appraised for just over 3 now, recently. We've done some upgrades since we bought it. We have, I want to say we're on 3/4 of an acre. I could be wrong. Maybe we might be one.
It's gone up
200%
since I came in here when I was 19. It was $100,000 for a house then. Now it's $300,000.
Yeah. So the price is probably right. That being said, so they can't afford it.
Maybe not in Smallville. Maybe in Metropolis.
I don't know. But I mean, it also looks like they have a bunch of country, a bunch of land. Like that land is what makes it expensive.
Yeah.
But regardless, they don't have the money, so Chrissy is going to try and sell her portion of the Gazette, while Kyle is going to sell his grill. Yep. Now, out of the two, I feel like
one could actually pay.
One is more important than the other.
There's no way Kyle paid more than $1,000 for his grill. That's probably the maximum that he paid. I'd say $200.
Like, maybe $6. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I understand. Like, he's a grill master, I guess. But also, he's only putting it. He put it up at the firehouse with a for sale sign. Like, obviously, they don't. You can keep your grill, my dude. What are you doing?
I will say, this doesn't happen often with the show, but my eyes almost rolled in the back of my head when Lois was like, "That's his superpower."
Yep.
I was like, "Oh my god, that's one of the worst lines I've ever heard you utter." Like, such a strong performance most of the time with you, and that's oh my god. But
anyway, we're getting around the scene, so let's get to that.
we also have to point out too, Lex Luthor is not in this episode.
Correct.
He is
His
gone back
presence
to
is
his
here.
apartment in Metropolis. Yes, we find out at the end that he has fingerprints in this episode anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's flash. We'll go rewind a little bit after going
Do the
to Clark.
flashbacks.
So yeah, we see a little bit of Clark with Jimmy. So we got our first appearance of Jimmy Olsen in this.
Hey, probably our only appearance as well.
And I'm going to ask you, I don't like. I never cared about Jimmy Olsen, to be honest with you. Like, only time, and it was the bare minimum, was Superman the animated series. And even then, I used to get more frustrated because he'd get himself into situations where Superman had to help him more so than, like, you know, the one time he helped him with Metallo, if I remember. That one was actually kind of good. But
I cared about Jimmy in Supergirl because he actually had a role to play.
Yes.
Plus, how do you say his name? McCad Brooks. I totally butchered that.
That's right. He's in Mortal Kombat too.
Yes. Like he's awesome actor.
Yeah.
Awesome Jimmy. Awesome Guardian. Like
I would have loved for him to be Jimmy here, but
it would have been so good because. But now that he's not, I don't think we're gonna get Melissa Benoist.
You know what? Too.
We still could, but I don't think we will.
To go back to our initial thing about watching this early in that, I was on YouTube on Wednesday, and there was a little thing on the side of one of the videos in my feed, and it was him standing next to McCad Brooks as Jimmy Olsen, and it's like spoiler photos from 407, and I was like, refresh, get it away, so it disappeared, and I was like, I thought to myself, like, is he on it? And I was like, would he be? I was like, I figured that would blow up my Twitter more if he was.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I guess I'll see when I watch it. But yeah, I a little thing there almost had me, a little YouTube clip thing.
Nice. So yeah, but Jimmy here, he's trying to put the softball team together. He's trying to get convince Clark to join in. He's reluctant because of his powers. Lois convinces him, and so he joins. He becomes the Bunt King, I guess.
Bunt King, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to be that guy, but you're not allowed to bunt softball. It's an automatic out. So just throwing it out there as someone who's played like softball quite a bit. It's an automatic out if you bunt. So whoever was writing that, come on. In baseball, that's what you do is a bunt. And they could have said they were playing baseball, but they said company softball team.
And yet the ball was a baseball.
Yeah. It was whoever your sports guy was on that.
Yeah, you fire him.
That was not like, come on, guys.
So one thing I do want to point out. So Clark's there for the first game. He misses like the next like three.
Yeah.
And then this is where Jimmy tries to, thinks that, oh, hey, I know why you missed. You're Superman. And he presents like three different scenarios that Superman had to go save during the same time
as the games. Yeah.
If I'm correct, those three incidents were the same ones from the movies. Because one was the helicopter coming down. Yeah. So that's Superman Returns. Yeah. Or Superman the movie. Yeah. One was the elevator in Paris.
That's Superman 2. Yeah.
And the other one was a train, which technically would be Superman. Yeah, I think. So like,
those are pretty cool.
Like that's a pretty cool Easter egg.
Yeah, that is pretty nice, and I did enjoy like we getting to see the toll of keeping his secret. Took on Clark, like he didn't get to make any friends, and Jonathan and Jordan even mentioned that when they're talking about it because they're pissed off first.
Yeah,
having to do all this, and then Jonathan's like, I realized like he got no friends. Like we never see him hang out. And
he's got friends, Mr. Irons, Cushing.
He's like, my dude, do you see them over having a beer anytime? No, he doesn't get to have friends because he's Superman. So I did like that. He realized that, and Jonathan also being like, I don't want that. Like I don't want. Yeah. So it was nice, and ultimately, Emmett comes in because he presents after that. Yeah, so Emmett comes into the bar.
Emmett, who was Candace's dad, he was the one that back in like beginning of the season?
Last season.
3, yeah, that's right. Clark like shoved his face in the counter.
Yeah, took him out like it was so badass too.
It was amazing.
So, yeah, he's come back. He's mad. He knows that he's actually Superman, and he got a gun there. People try to de-escalate the situation, but it doesn't go. And then he just pulled out the gun and shoots. And I love this because Clark is like in speed time, and he's looking at Lois, being like, and Lois just staring at him like, I don't say smug, but like
I believe in you. I got you.
Yeah.
Got this.
Whatever you
Yeah.
decide, I got this. And
Yep.
he just reveals the shirt, and bam, it hits. And then when you look at him, he's wearing his full Superman suit. And one thing I did notice when they ripped it off at one point, I saw the boots before they did the full
Pull
reveal.
down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So then everyone looks, and Kyle and the other guy take him out, and then Superman apologizes to everybody in the restaurant, which was a nice scene too.
Yep.
And then he goes home,
One
and
thing. One thing. When Emmett shoots and the scene gets back together, he's like, he was right. He
well,
was
we
right.
find out right after this when they're all
Yes, but
together.
like,
Yeah,
because
nice.
you can assume that Candace is the one that
Yeah.
said, although Candace had no contact with the dad, hasn't had any contact with the dad since he got ran off.
Yeah.
Because what he when he comes in, he's like, a little birdie told me that you're Superman.
Yeah.
So immediately you're thinking, oh, Candace can't keep her mouth shut, which is bad because she promised she would.
And it automatically confirms what Clark.
Correct.
Yeah.
But again, as Kyle is pulling him out, he's like, oh, he was right.
Yeah, and then we find out right after that it was Luthor, not Candace, who told Emmett the identity when they were both in Strikers.
Yep.
And that's when Clark sits down and he's like, well, this is affecting everyone now. Like, using this to get the people. I think I'm going to have to reveal my identity. But this is one thing that I really loved. And it just goes back to the show. He's like, this is a family decision first. So we're not going to do this unless everyone's on board. And
they all agree.
And he has an interview and reveals that he's Superman. That is a pretty good interview. I didn't hear the interviewer, if it was someone, I wish it would have been Cat Grant or someone like.
Yeah, Cat would have been great. Jimmy would have been fine. This was Janet Olsen, his sister.
Yeah. So I forgot all about seeing her in that flashback and then seeing her there. So
yeah.
And then it's a good interview, and he has to go off because he's going to meet Jimmy and basically try to apologize.
Yeah, and Jimmy's just like, don't worry about it. You're fine.
You're Superman, dude.
Yeah. My only gripe with this part is, all right, so he reveals himself to the world that he's Superman, and the next day his property is not swarmed with people.
Yeah. That's the one thing that hope maybe it'll take a couple days to figure out where exactly in Kansas he is for those people.
They literally said it's in Smallville.
Oh, okay.
His name is Clark Kent.
Yeah.
It's probably in the white pages.
Yeah, he said Smallville. He said, when I grew up in Smallville, he said it 6 times. But they repeated that monologue at the start, and then they repeated that a couple. Yeah, so
it's. I mean, I get it. It's all fantasy. It's fine, but I can look past that sort of.
And maybe see, this is the other thing too. Maybe where it's a 10-episode season, you don't have time to focus on that. And I guess there are some positives to the 22-episode model where you do have time to explore all these major events that happen in the season.
I mean, if you looked at the 6-episode season, like I said, that could have been the series finale. But whatever.
One other thing too, though, is we saw this in the mirror world that the Bizarro Superman came from. Their family got big on fame because they found out who they were. So I'm shocked that they didn't show any. Now, maybe they might show that in the next couple episodes. Who knows? So,
okay, yeah.
So, I really enjoyed the episode. Thought it was great.
Like I said, the episode, it's fine. It's more it is on the positive side for me. I did enjoy it, but this is the 4th episode out of 7 that nothing has really happened.
Yeah.
So,
I'll agree with you. A couple of the other ones were a bit slower. This one at least had some topics that I've never seen covered by Superman before. So that was the enjoyable part, but it did sometimes slow down. Okay, let's take another ad break and get into the DC news. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. We have some DC news now. First off, we had a little teaser trailer for Peacemaker that came along, releasing in 2025. We saw Vigilante, Peacemaker, and Rick Flag Sr., and then the group is still together.
Mm-hmm.
Not much besides that, but still pretty cool because they already have that stuff filmed.
I'm looking forward to season 2.
And we found out that it's going to debut a month after Superman in August. That was
I'll
from
take it.
James Gunn himself. And James Gunn also said something that we're going to benefit from, which is Creature Commandos is dropping 2 episodes for the first viewing on December 5th. So it will be dropping on Thursdays on Max. So we will be reviewing both of those episodes the following day on Friday.
Heck yeah.
Yes. So Superman trailer news. It's finished. It's completed, and it's on James Gunn's hard drive.
Yep,
C-
that's
CC,
all we got.
CCXP?
When is that? That's coming up here in a few weeks.
December, I
Okay.
think.
Maybe
XP 2024 date.
because the movie's coming out in July, so 6 months.
December 4th to the 8th. So yeah, I totally
Yeah.
could see it coming then. Which, I mean,
Ooh, that's kind of with Creature Commandos coming out that same like while that's happening. That's gonna take some thunder away. I think
that's true too.
that could be potentially bad.
Would you do it? Well, it's animated. I'd say if you're going to drop it, you drop it the last day on the 8th. Then you got
Sure.
your 5th. You got 5th, 6th, and 7th off for Creature Commandos. I don't know if that's going to keep up the discussion.
But it
on the
also
8th.
depends on when their panel is.
That's true too.
You know?
So,
I mean, the big thing is what was I gonna say? Oh, I mean, yeah. While yes, it is animated. This is gonna be part of the DCU.
DCU, yeah.
So like, you don't want to just shoo it aside to have Superman. I mean, yes, everybody wants a Superman trailer. Everybody wants to know what's going on. I don't know.
There's
Like
rumors of other DCU characters appearing in this show.
Yeah.
Too. I'll just hold it there. People are getting screeners, and unfortunately, some rumors are getting out now.
Yeah, Snell said something in the chat the other day, and I haven't seen anything on my feed, but I also haven't been on social media as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I can
dodge those.
Exactly.
So Colin Farrell says he has 5 or 6 scenes in the Batman 2, and he also reveals that he's attached to star in the 3rd film as well.
Heck yeah.
We're totally in
the 3rd
agreement.
film, huh? I wonder who could be in the 3rd film. Maybe even the 2nd film. I don't know. Anyway.
We'll get to that right now, Joe. Well, actually, no, not right now. First off, we'll get to something that we talked about. Batman's absence during Penguin. Matt Reeves actually explained, gave his explanation for it.
Okay.
Give me a second. Please answer the question. I don't care.
No, you have to answer the question to get it to the article.
I did, but I didn't answer. I didn't read it really. Let's find it here. So Matt Reeves said, "This was a time of great turmoil in the city. It's literally the week after what happened. Much of the city is in desperation, so police can't get everywhere. There's crime everywhere. It's a very dangerous time. Batman's out there trying to grapple with the aftermath of everything that happened, which to some degree he blames himself for."
Feel like that's a cop out, but okay.
He also said, looking ahead to Batman Part 2, Reeves revealed fans will see the titular hero entering a challenging new phase as he finds it very hard to be Batman.
Okay.
So yeah, that's his answer as to why Batman wasn't there.
I don't know. That seems a little like wishy-washy.
Yeah, but again, I just will wait to see Batman Part 2. Maybe they'll address that.
I'm not upset by it. Like, I'm happy he wasn't, because it would have taken away from Penguin, from Oz. But at the same time, when a city block gets blown up and Batman doesn't show up, what do you do?
There you go. That's Penguin just kind of lucky stars. Maybe there's another, maybe Fireflies starting stuff, and Batman's having dealing with him. Something really cool from the Penguin though, and shout out to the Batman film Reddit. Someone posted something really interesting in Julian Rush's office. So they wrote. So I was rewatching episode 4 and noticed some extremely interesting objects on Julian's desk. These were not there in the first scene with Julian's office, episode 2, where Sophia has a PTSD meltdown. In that episode, in order to ground her, he specifically tells her to look at the pictures on the wall and the object on his desk. His desk is totally normal at that point. If you go and rewatch this scene in episode 4, you'll notice Sophia briefly checks out these objects as she walks around the room. And when she's going through his desk, you can look at where her sight line actually is. It's on the desk, not the drawer with the pills. Something interesting to note is that she's not really supposed to be there in that episode. She's only there as an accident/emergency. It seems plausible plot-wise that Julian didn't have a chance to put these things away, like he perhaps normally would have if he knew someone else was going to be in his office. Then again, he's so manipulative, he might have left them out for her to see. Just food for thought. I might have appreciated it. People might appreciate it. So he has a
And what we're talking about here
yes,
is a glove with
yeah,
some syringes on it and a burlap sack mask.
mask, and both of those are there behind Sophia as she's standing up there looking. And yeah, you can see them as clear as day.
Yeah,
It
that's
kind
pretty
of looks
awesome.
a little bit like the Freddy Krueger hand glove, to be honest with you.
Well, it looks like it looks
Yeah,
like
no,
the glove
I know.
from Arkham Knight
Yeah,
or Arkham Asylum. Like
yeah.
it's Scarecrow's glove.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, like you'd obviously see it a bit better. I'm just saying from far away in that Twitter thumbing in that small little picture, it
Yeah,
does look a little bit like. But there is different things there that make me not think it's Freddy's glove too. But it's just really cool, Joe. If this is the case,
yeah.
like I wonder if he could possibly be a villain in Batman Part Two.
So it is. I mean, yes, Scarecrow's been done before in Batman Begins and Dark Knight trilogy, but having him. So I think you did send me a Twitter post basically saying like it potentially was supposed to be Jonathan Crane, and then they changed it at the last minute to
Yeah.
be Julian Rush. And so I'm wondering if they're going to try to use that as Julian is just an alias that he
See,
used because like
well,
the name like he got disbarred or something and he had to like change his name.
so to back you up on this, on July 18th, so literally
Like a
5
few
months
weeks
ago,
before, yeah.
5 months ago, this person tweeted out Bobatax, which is the one that tweeted out that the pictures that we're talking about, driving some interesting deets on his latest YouTube video. So there was a legit paper that listed Theo Rossi as Dr. Jonathan Crane. It was later changed to Dr. Julian Rush, which is now the official name. And this person said, I'm thinking it's a cover up and he's Scarecrow. And Theo Rossi commented on that with a
Oh,
GIF of Randy Savage, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the word wow up above him and him pointing up at it and going like,
oh
so
yeah. I love
yeah,
it.
so yeah, this is a long time ago, and that people are commenting on this now, being like, "Are you Scarecrow, my brother?" so, so yeah, it's like that
Dude,
was
if he
so.
is, good on him. I mean, I like Theo Rossi. He's a good actor. If
I was trying to think of what like we could put him into. I was like, can he turn into Hugo Strange? Like, can he take over and say that he's actually Hugo Strange? I was like, I'm just trying to think of things
sure,
because I loved his performance. I thought it was great.
yeah, yeah. No, he did a wonderful job. Maybe getting involved with his patient was wrong, but it's fine.
Yeah, so I still that's such an interesting thing, and hopefully we'll get more about that in the Batman Part Two or another series. Who knows? He could be a main character in the Catwoman Sophia series if that ever happens. Uh, the Penguin is also releasing on 4K Steelbook on March 17th of 2025 for those 4K Steelbook fans.
I mean, I do like steelbooks; those are kind of cool. I don't know if I want to convert to steelbook. Like, I wouldn't mind having the Penguin in my library,
Same.
but at the same time, I don't want a steelbook. That means I
And
gotta get steelbooks of everything. I can't just not have a. I can't have not have a match.
it becomes a sickness, Joe.
Oh,
Also, there was a picture that went up of
why I haven't got steelbooks of the Disney Plus shows yet.
Colin Farrell and Ryder Allen as both versions of Oz. I just want to say that kid did such a great job.
Amazing job.
Like,
Yeah, he was
holy crap.
awesome.
Holy crap. So, Catwoman solo project doesn't sound like we're getting that anytime soon, Joe. From Casey Bloys of HBO. He said there's no plans for the Zoe Kravitz Catwoman series. We've been talking mostly about is there another story with the Penguin? Reeves and Lauren LaFranc work really well together. Hopefully they'll find something that they think is exciting. So I don't think they're rolling it out.
We don't need a season 2 of Penguin either, though.
No, not in between the Batman.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you want to set up the stuff for the mob war, like the villain mob war. But yeah.
Catwoman, I would like, only because you can't have her in Bloodhaven.
Yeah.
You can't have her maybe coming back to visit her sister.
And Batman doesn't need to be involved because
exactly he's in a whole different city.
Catwoman's not blowing up buildings and trying to take over the entire mob.
Well,
she's not trying
she
to take
might blow up buildings to get some stuff.
It's not more break in, like try to be really cat burglar, like. But
well,
yeah, I would love to see Catwoman and Sophia
meet officially. Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
And
I don't think it's going to happen in the movies, but like a show would be wonderful. A show would make it work.
Same. Yep, I agree. Also, Christopher Reeve's documentary is winning all the awards.
Nice.
It has 6 winners for the Critic Choice Award, including Best Documentary Feature, Best Director, Best Editing, Best Score. So yeah, they're doing
very good.
It's doing.
I still haven't. Well. Have you got a chance to see that yet?
Not yet. No, I'm.
Yeah, same. I need to go see it.
Definitely, it's out now. I think on digital.
Okay. Oh, sweet. Because I know they put it in like theater. Like they actually had a release for it.
They did.
I
think it's out now that you can actually buy.
Yeah, I might have to do that. I might have to check that out sometime.
Also, there's a new statue that's joining Wonder Woman and Batman on the streets of Burbank, and that is Green Lantern. And before you ask why isn't Superman there, come on, guys, 2025. Like you definitely will reveal that leading up to Superman.
Yeah.
So
baby.
John Stewart's statue is pretty cool. He's holding the lantern with a ring, and that's my Green Lantern. So obviously, love seeing.
That's a lot of people.
Okay, getting to what Iggy asked us about before. James Gunn commented because Tom Brittany went on a podcast saying he was one of the final 3 for Superman, and he had to try on one of Henry Cavill's suits, and he was a little too big, and he ripped it. And then James Gunn commented and said, "Yes, Tom messed it up." And then Cornsweet came in, and he was way too tall, so it just got torn to shreds. By the way, Tom is incredible, one of my favorite actors, incredible, talented guy. So, yeah, and Iggy said that Tom Brittany and David Cornsweet are getting death threats. So I never saw that anywhere.
I saw that Tom was. I didn't know David was.
Okay.
But also at the same time, like, seriously, that's common. Everybody they always bring in the previous suit who have the actors try on, and they almost always just, I don't say destroy them like purposely, but those get like damaged. It happens. How do you think that? Like, I got a piece of Brandon Routh's suit from Superman Returns. It's just a little like card cutout thing my brother gave me back in the day. Like, how do you think I got that? Because they didn't need it anymore. It got cut up. Like, I don't see people yelling at.
Also, I didn't see this. I never saw anyone getting mad. So I don't know. Iggy, maybe get your block features, mute features a bit better, because like those people stab people anyways.
Well, yes, but his concern is warranted. Like, and I'm not saying. I don't want to be like, oh, it's all the Snyderverse lovers that are doing it. Like, yeah, probably. And they're mad because this is just one more nail in the coffin of Henry Cavill not coming back. They tried. Like, freaking Rock tried to bring him back because he did a power play that didn't work, and it ruined everything. Henry Cavill's done.
I don't
move on.
I don't care. Like, I don't want to talk about this, like the Snyder stuff. Like, I don't need to talk about this anymore. Like, even the crazy people, like, I blocked those people on Twitter specifically so I don't have to see any of this stuff.
Sure, but just the fact that they, Christopher Reeve had his time, right? Michael Keaton had his time. And then, like, Christian Bale had his time as a superhero. People were able to watch these and then move on. And then all of a sudden, we get the DCEU, which we both liked. We both like the DCEU. We both like the Snyder movies. We enjoyed them. However, that time came. That time is now gone. We are now looking forward to the next generation. We're looking forward to the next thing. And these guys are still stuck in 2013 for whatever stupid reason. Like, grow up.
Yes, but again, I would never care to see what they got to say about anything if they're going to send death threats to someone for ripping a suit. So I will just block them and never give them any oxygen in my life whatsoever. That's the way to go. Instead of somehow figuring out that they're doing that, Tom Britton is not going to care. He's going to block every single toxic person that's into it, which he should do. These
He
people
should.
don't have a life, and I like again, I don't. I don't think it benefits us to talk about them doing this, like because they're crazy people that would do this. A person that would do this is like, it's just not
I
playing with
want to
the
say
cards.
something, and my thoughts are sticking in my head, but I will not say it because of reasons.
Like you
But we'll
said,
go.
we both watched DCU and
Yeah,
enjoyed it. We're
we
both
like
ready.
them.
We're both ready for the DCU now because
Correct.
again, next.
That's what's coming up. Like, I'm not looking back to the past. Like, I have those movies. That's great. I can watch them anytime I want. Yes, it's not complete, but it is what it is. Now I can look forward to Superman coming, to Creature Commandos, to Supergirl. Like, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, same. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. But again, I'm not going to get there and fire off messages. The only thing I don't like about anything James Gunn has done so far is that he hasn't given any love to Superman and Lois, and we're on the 7th episode of the final season. I just
Sure,
want him to be out just once. If you can
but
report
this
to Jim Buck on Thread saying there's no Joker show, you can at one point before the 10th episode say, "Hey guys, go and check out this great show. They're doing fabulous work." He could do that. He could
he
plug it.
could, he
And
could, but this is also the guy who said the last 4 DC movies were great, and
Yeah, but this is actually
they
great.
weren't.
So, like,
No, yes, that's true, but that's why he can't say it because it's actually good, and he doesn't need people to watch it because people are actually watching it.
yeah, I just feel like it would be to a
No, I
nice
get
thing
you,
to do.
and I agree. Like, he
Especially
should
with
say
like
something.
I've seen last season, Elizabeth Tulloch had to do all the promotion herself, essentially, on her own Twitter page and stuff, because the
Yeah,
Union got things from CW. So just that, especially she's been supremely diplomatic, being like, "Yeah, our time is over. I'm really excited for what James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to do with Superman. I was just really appreciative of having 4 seasons.
I
We
can
were told
see.
7, but that's
Sure, I can see him saying something on the finale
I hope so.
only because it's the same week as Creature Commandos. But like, oh yeah, the watch this finale for Superman Lois, and then come back to HBO Max and watch this show of the DCU. Like,
It's just the
not
best.
great,
It's
but
best of all the DC TV shows that happen like, on the
right. It really,
CW.
it
So
really
like, I
was.
just wish that it would, and it could have continued. I don't know why it didn't, why it couldn't have been put on Netflix or HBO Max allowed to run. Like like I said, you're
Even
getting it.
Max, like, yeah, put it on Max.
This is the only thing I find if I don't, I want to know that Next Star ended and it's like CW and Next Star ended it and didn't want to renew it and no one else tried because like if you could have had this here, you could have had it going. You're allowed to have Batman in the DCU while he's going on in Matt Reeves' epic crime saga at the same time. So I don't know why two of these couldn't coexist as well. It's a great iteration, but that might not be the reason. So that's why I'm not like "Rah, rah, rah." It's just the way it is.
I
It's
mean,
just the way it is.
yeah, I mean, and honestly, it could also be one of those things where now the guns he could have had both going on. He could have
Yeah.
agreed to it all. Uh,
I also
I don't
understand
know.
like you want to get a fresh take with Superman. It's just again with the Batman thing. But Batman isn't showing up for a little while yet in the DCU either. So
Yeah, it's what not until 27 at the
something like that,
earliest.
unless he appears
That's a
somewhere else.
filming, I think. Yeah,
Unless he appears somewhere else prior to that. In
which is always possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
So yeah, still don't waste your action on those people. Like trust me, my blacklist is in the thousands because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of those people that I don't know why like go out and throw a ball or go out and ride a bike or go for a hike.
Yeah,
It's so many or read a book.
yeah, those might get banned soon. Anyway, let's continue on.
Final thing, Joe. Uh, there's going to be another Batman game, according to David Zaslav. During the
Allegedly.
during the latest earnings calls, which spoiler alert, did not go great, and now they're selling off 10 of their Batmobiles because again
The
they have no
Tumblr
money.
Batmobiles,
They have no money.
mind you,
They have no money.
from Dark Knight Trilogy, and they're not street legal. Why are you going to sell this if I can't ride it drive it in the actual road? I'm not buying that.
So someone go on Pawn Stars for a 10-minute segment.
How are you going to get it there? Like you have to pay to have the thing towed there. You're going to be losing money.
If I bought that for that amount of money, I'd be driving it. Like I wouldn't care.
It's $3 million is what they want. $3 million a piece.
I'm sure you can pay for it not being street legal and a few tickets.
I don't know.
I'm
going to take it in the country road, and it could basically be the whole road. Which I mean, the country roads are pretty small anyway, but still.
So yes, he spoke on his game and the earnings call about the video game side of WB. He said we have 4 strong and profitable game franchises with loyal global fans: Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, and DC. But unfortunately, he said this, in particular, Batman. Oh my. We are focusing on developing efforts on those core franchises with proven studios to improve our success ratio.
4 Arkham games, 3 Lego Batman games. Yes, we have a Gotham Knights game that went nowhere, but Batman wasn't in it, so that's kind of whatever.
Everyone's like, Batman Beyond Arkham game. Come on with it. Come on with it. That's all that's under here. Oh, my. So, yeah, that wraps up the news, Joe. We got a Smallville retro recap, which is fairly boring.
Yeah.
That we'll get into. Season 5, episode 18, Fragile. The biggest thing for this one is Tom Welling directed this episode.
It was so I watched the one previous to this one, which I can't remember what that one was called, and this one as well because I didn't remember where we were, so I was just like, hedge my bets, watch them both.
You watched the one where Lana got addicted to Meteor Rock before.
Addicted to dying because I can't. There was a movie that came out where people scanners I can't remember. Like are probably around the same time in like year wise that is a movie about people killing themselves for the ultimate rush or whatever. So so we're gonna do that on the TV show.
Yeah,
sure.
It was bad. This was better than that one.
This one was definitely better than that one, while still being just okay. Clark, the whole relationship between Clark and a child is always adorable. It's always cute. It's always powerful. But then you have also the subplot of Lana and Lex maybe getting it on.
That always just made me go like, ugh. Like I don't like it.
It's also one of those things where we know that they are gonna get married in like a season or two. So
a season.
Married.
In middle or end of season 6?
I don't remember. Oh yeah, it would be 6 because Lex is gone by 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, okay, fine, whatever.
This was my favorite thing about this whole episode was basically Lex telling Chloe like zip it, like I don't care, like you've never had a boyfriend. I was like, oh damn.
I was in my head. I'm like, no, she had the whole cold. But
I listened to Talkville about this, and Rosenbaum was like, it was okay. Like, and they were like, why? Like, well, to be honest with you, Lex would have been like, Chloe, get the fuck out of my house. Chloe,
the fact that these guys just walk in constantly. Okay, so I'm
also getting new security. You're never going to be able to be back in here again.
I just finished season 1 of Jessica Jones today. And in there, Trish Walker, if you remember, she lives in her apartment. It's like security on the door. It has multiple security levels on her own room. And then, like, the whole season, there's almost always somebody by her door. And she's like, does my doorman just not do his job? What the heck? I feel like that's what Lex has. His doorman just doesn't care. He's just like, it's job security, I think.
Someone must have bought him like a comfortable chair, so that like whenever they come by, he's just like,
Yeah,
sleeping.
exactly.
Like that's the only thing I can understand. But yeah, this was this was just an okay at best episode. Like the stuff with the kid was enjoyable. Like you said, that's
Sure.
always
Yeah.
enjoyable with Superman or Clark and the kid because you can relate to, especially this kid who actually has powers.
And
And
that's the thing. Like I couldn't remember like the whole like I know I watched this episode, but I couldn't remember exactly where it all panned out. And it being that it was her dad, like she
yeah,
gained her powers second nature. But her dad was coming back to try and get her to then leave with her.
yeah,
Um, it that's fine until you start thinking back on the very beginning when it all pops off and the like all the glass in the one room is shattered. And then the mirror, which obviously walking up to a mirror while it's shaking, of course you're gonna. What are you doing?
yeah,
But the mirror kills her foster parent.
yeah.
Um, we find out later that's the dad that did this. We're thinking it's her, but we find out it's the dad. He didn't take her then. Why didn't he take her then? Like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, that's and I did it. The only reason they did this too was just to like reinforce the point that only Clark believes in the girl. Everyone else thinks that she is like not good.
I
So
mean, he did question it for a second, but he definitely was on her side the entire time.
yeah. So again, this was okay. I'm looking forward to the final few episodes of the season. I think
Yeah, we are.
Zod takes over Lex at some point in the last episode of the season. I think.
Does he?
I
God,
feel like
it's
they're
been too long
flying
since I've seen it.
around or something. Doesn't Bizarro come in at the end? I can't remember now. Like just few seasons blend in together. So I'll be curious. I know the season, like the final couple episodes, usually are pretty like big. So looking forward to those.
Speaking of Bizarro, and this just got me thinking of Brainiac. Lois, or would have been the last episode, I believe, where Chloe has a tip about Fine being in Brazil or Chile or wherever the heck he was at, and she gets the picture and then zooms in and to this one little section because she knew to look there. What are you doing?
Why are you in school? Like you're smarter than everyone. Like, but they do put that character down to that path. I'm pretty sure that she is like got something like a free like the Smallville things with her brain, like her mother. So
Oh yeah,
I
forgot
think
about
they
that.
do. Like it's been a while. Some of the episodes are good too, though. So I look forward
We're getting
to.
there. We're this was episode 18. We got what
There's
about
an
5
episode.
left?
There's an episode in season 6 where Clark and Lex are stuck together and they got to work together to get out like a mine shaft or something. They got and I think this lasts like two of them together doing anything nice. When they come out of it, they're on opposite sides immediately.
That
So
tracks.
I can't remember when. And then one where Clark goes into the like psychiatric. That's a really good episode too.
Okay, we'll get there.
We'll get to those in season 6, including Justice. Okay, listeners, that wraps up our week. We'll be back next week with more DC goodness and Superman and Lois for season 4, episode 8. Until then, see you, everyone.
Bye, y'all.